Come on then, people. How are we doing? Sammy, United People's TV, here to kick off another week. I've got 30-odd tabs open here. It's always mad on a Monday, but this Monday in particular, we're covering the pre-season game, everything that was said before it, everything that happened during it, everything that happened after it. We've already done a match reaction and already did the 5 things we learned. We're going to follow up on that today. We're going to have conversations about Ugarte, about Mainoo, because I've not had a chance to talk to you since that game against West Ham in the middle of the night. We'll also speak about Antony and Saudi, a warning from Amorim to players who haven't left the club yet. We'll also run through all the other transfer news that happened this weekend, not just with United. And we'll speak about this week. We've got Bournemouth at, I think it's 2:30 in the morning on Friday morning. Nasty. And yeah, we're going to run through everything. So let me see. Am I now Tintin? Yeah, I can deal with Tintin. I've been called a lot worse things in my life. Let's be totally honest. I used to love Tintin. I swear it used to be like was that on like ITV or BBC? The Adventures of Tintin. That was class. Anyway, let me see who's here from the mods and the members gang. And let's get on with the show. Money Machine down there saying, I think United should sign Sesko. You can see what I've called all the Sesko stories. It's just noise. It feels like just noise to me. I think United have... It's not that we don't have a chance of signing Sesko. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it was ever going to happen this summer. From when the links first came in. Alex, good morning to you. Stephanie, good morning to you. Was the game on Friday morning? Thursday morning? Thursday morning. Well, it's Thursday morning then. Right, there you go. Carl, good morning to you. Stephanie, good morning to you as well. We've got Akash, we've got Zinni, we've got Dean Downey. We've got Moonraker. We've got El Nathan. We've got Cormac. Block 119er. That work? Chris, good morning to you. As always, please get involved in the chat. How were your weekends? Oasis were unreal. Somehow better than I thought they would be. That was a gig and a half. If I showed you the bruises on the backs of my legs, my word. It was worth it. Made best mates with like the row in front of us. If you get the opportunity to go, go. I mean, all the tickets sold out anyway, so you won't be able to. But it was 10 out of 10, if I do say so myself. And it was my sister's 40th at the weekend. 40. She's old. Sorry, Jen. You got to take the piss, though. That's what brothers do. Carabao saying we need a central midfielder more than we need a striker. I've already said this, but last week, I definitely let myself get carried away. And not in the... I knew full well, really, that we couldn't afford Isaac, but just part of me was like, well, what if there's a chance that you can involve this player and then you put a little bit on the credit card there and you got Garnacho goes over here. And I was trying to make some sort of convoluted equation where there might be a logical way where we can present an offer for Isaac. Well, I'll speak about him in a little bit down here. Anyway, I want to start the show by saying congratulations to England's women for winning the Euros back-to-back. Ella Toon, the Tiss. Not sure who the one on the left is. I wouldn't say it was the greatest final, but England dug in. Both goals were quite similar. I think Spain played better football, but England did the job in the penalties. Was it Chloe Kelly who scored the winner? Unbelievable. Like, that was probably the best penalty, to be fair. Fair play to them. So I just want to say congratulations. Right, let's kickstart the show. Grace Clinton, that's it. Thank you very much, Alex. Now, did anybody see this at the weekend? Because this is absolutely hilarious, right? You all know what happened with Forest, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Spurs. They found out that there was a release clause in his contract. They paid it. Forest then basically said it was an illegal move, accused him of tapping up. Presumably, nobody should have known about the release clause, but what the hell's the point in a release clause if it's not public information? There's no point having a release clause in your contract. Anyway, he's now signed a new deal with with Forest, but mate, look at this interview. I'll just play a little clip of this interview.
I'm delighted. So thank you to Mr. Marinakis for believing in me. I feel like we've been on a roller coaster of a journey, but I've felt the love inside.
Felt the love. Felt the knife just digging into your lower back. Well, honestly, it's like a hostage video. It's a bit bad, isn't it? Marinakis is an absolutely nasty... I think we can all agree on that, right? Nasty piece of work. Remember, what was it, the end of last season when he went on the pitch and he was having to go at the manager directly on the pitch? That was weird. The stuff with Crystal Palace and the place in the Europa League, he was grassing them up. Well, he was just basically just trying to get them kicked out. Doesn't seem like a very nice bloke, right? Yeah, Brian, he looks absolutely delighted. It was so funny that I just wanted to talk about that this morning. Yeah, see, it's like Morgan Gibbs Whitehead, somebody holding like an auto cue behind the camera. Yeah, so I've felt nothing but love since I've been here. Thank you, Mr. Marinakis. Honestly, it's just such a great club, and just thank you, Mr. Marinakis. Can I leave now, Mr. Marinakis? Anyway, in a non-laughing matter, how ridiculous, you know how we've, well, me, but you've been agreeing, has been doing a lot of complaining about the sort of the prices that other clubs are sort of able to get, especially Chelsea. This might be one of the weirdest ones, surely. Like, nearly 50 million euros for João Felix. What? Where? How? Then you look at the fact that Al Nassr, who are owned by PIF, have a massive stake in Clear Lake Capital, who of course own Chelsea. So difficult to connect the dots. So difficult to see where these things are connected. Not. Man, this is why like Chelsea are able to just keep doing nuts stuff. Just keep doing nuts stuff. They're now going out and spending 40 million euros on Joel Hato from Ajax 19. And then on top of that, they're going to be signing Xavi Simons, who's a sod-nosed... They're just incredibly consistent at not giving a toss. They do not care about anything dodgy that they do. They absolutely don't care. Oh, it's not illegal. It's not cheating. Cool. Well, you're watching X amount of months' time when that loophole is closed. They're just incredibly efficient at being dodgy. That's what Chelsea are. And unfortunately for United, and this is I think probably part of this is just kind of my annoyance at the fact that United are just sitting here with players who do hold some value, but players that we still can't get rid of. And then this one here, Liverpool. 75 mil for Luis Diaz. I mean, it's pretty much the absolute top it could be, given that he's 28. But technically, when you sign players of that age, you get someone who's at the peak of their powers for 2 to 3 years. So you might say that's pretty relative. And the fact that Liverpool won the league last year. But then, of course, that's allowing Liverpool to do that. Man, they are having the summer of summers. You know, I'm not sure whether I mentioned this to you before. I think I did. I just had like a reality check of what happened the last time United won the league versus, I know I remember having this chat with you, versus what happened the last time Liverpool won the league. It looks like they're going to go out and sign Isaac, Ekitike, Wirtz, Kirkes, Frimpong. And in the summer where we won the league, we signed Fellaini on deadline day. Just that's how you build on winning the league. That's madness. Ara's saying, how are they getting the money? That's what I want to know. Well, right there, just said it. 75 million for David Luiz, for Luis Diaz. They're going to be selling Darwin Núñez probably to a Saudi club, probably for around about the same amount. And they won the league last year. It's United really, really did choose a heck of a summer to be broke, and also a heck of a summer to not be able to sell a bloody player for any amount of money. Oh yeah, the Georgian keeper as well. What's his name? Marmadashvili? Have I just made that up? I think that was him. Not sure whether I made it up. And look, going to be running through everything that happened in the game at the weekend with United, but I'm just going to kind of speak about Sesko here to start with, right? This is what Fabrizio said just a few days ago. Keep an eye on the story in the coming days as Newcastle are coming forward with a proposal. Newcastle are going to sign Sesko unless he decides that they're not a special enough club, but they're in the Champions League. I imagine he goes there. I imagine it'd be a pretty decent signing for them. I don't really, I suppose, who am I to say anything about logic when it comes to strikers after I did the video on Isaac, so I understand that. I just don't really think there's ever been a time this summer where Sesko was realistically a potential option for us. Shaney going down there saying offer 50 mil. It does massively feel like whether it's Leipzig or whether it's Sesko's agent, one of the two, or both, you don't know, have massively overplayed their hand this summer. They really tried to go like top level, like the 90-odd million, and it didn't really work. Don't rule out Ivan Toney. What's going on with Ivan Toney? I don't know what club he plays for out in Saudi. You having a good time? I have no idea. Rex is saying, if we could sell Rashford, Garnacho and Antony for Sancho for 75 mil each, we wouldn't be complaining. Our club needs to do better with selling players. That's what I said. It's partly just an anger and annoyance from me for the fact that we've got so many players that we just can't get rid of. And it's not a Ruben Amorim problem. It's not even an Ineos problem. This is a problem which has existed at our football club for so damn long. Well, Rashford's gone to Barca on loan. You see this one as well. A little bit random. I didn't know that there was anything going on with Donnarumma at PSG. This isn't me saying that I want United to go after Donnarumma from PSG. Numbers would just be too nuts. Did have a cracking season last season, though, in Champions League, didn't he? They're going after Lucas Chevalier. Now, we had big up to Steve and the guys in the research team for doing the research properly, because Lucas Chevalier was one of the options that we named on the list. Sen Lemons was another option that was named on the list, and Joan Garcia was another option named on the list. Joan Garcia has joined Barcelona. Looks like Lucas Chevalier might be going to PSG, and Sen Lemons is the goalkeeper that United are getting heavily linked with the most. John Victor wasn't mentioned in that video because nobody was mentioning him at the time. Anyway, that's kind of one to keep an eye on. I don't really think that Donnarumma should be anything to do with the United conversation. If everybody was here, it would probably be the first conversation he'd be having. But I just don't think that's going to happen. Zero Gravity saying, finally able to catch a live 5 a.m. in Barbados, and I don't know why I'm up. I don't know why you're up, but I'm glad you're here. Welcome aboard. Wish I was in Barbados. And the main man himself has been Gungshi. How are you doing? Did you enjoy the game? Gifting 10 memberships. Oh, I'll tell you something exciting. A member's reached out and we're kind of like having conversations, maybe. And this is something this was on my list of ambitions for the vision this year, or this season, coming for United People's TV. But maybe having conversations around building a website. Building a proper home for United People's TV. We've got Discord, which is incredible. But I know not everybody loves Discord, and I know not everybody understands it completely. I've always wanted to have one hub, one place, and then in that place, maybe behind the scenes, we could do different videos where we could use loads of match footage and stuff like that. Stuff that you couldn't actually release on YouTube or Facebook simply because of copyright issues. But maybe if we did something behind the scenes and we did it for members, we will be able to produce different types of videos that we otherwise wouldn't be able to because we'd just get shut down. That's the sort of thing that could exist on a website and only there. Yeah, random. Just thought I'd say. Right. Let's talk about it. Donnarumma on loan? Yeah, are they really going to let him on now? I don't know. They're going to let him on out on loan. Someone down there saying, when do you take a day off or go on holiday? Because you're either covering transfers and preseason or the season itself. Well, there's a bit of an issue, really. It's kind of it's just there is no time off. If I'm being totally honest, there isn't. If I'm looking at it this season, I won't be having any holidays anywhere because got the house that we've been saving up for a long time for, and we've got that now. Going to be building like an outbuilding. Hopefully the studio goes in there in the future. Going to try and be building a gym into it. Going to be getting married next year. So yeah, holidays off the cards. And everything's so busy. Although something I am going to be trying to do this year, and I'll tell you this, right? I'll tell you this. I'm going to try my best to have more of a presence away from just the studio this season. It's something that I'm really focused on. I think United People's TV it's incredible what we've done. What I want to do now is sort of bring it into the real world. That's why I'm so keen on getting a community manager in, so we can maybe do some of the, like, if next preseason, for example, I want to be able to come out in the preseason and we can do a couple of events maybe. Throughout the season, maybe, I don't know, go to Joburg and watch a game. God knows what. I don't really know. Be able to do a proper live show. Work with the club directly. Start going to some press conferences. Start going to Carrington. Start doing some interviews. That's what I'd love to bring to the channel this year. But then obviously you know exactly what my issue there is going to be. I need another me. And there's actually a couple of that have sent me some emails I've not actually replied to yet, so I apologise about that if you're still watching. Captain Steakbake, thank you for joining in too, man. Another 10 gifted memberships. I don't tell anybody I was engaged. Don't know. Mate, I'm never, ever, right, ever going to be doing a stand-up show. Like a comedian on stage. It's not my vibe. You know exactly what I've already said it a few times. When we do the live show, it's going to be, ideally, we rent a pub out somewhere. We'll probably do it for an away game. We'll have a little podcast on stage, just me and a couple of mates, a couple of microphones, speak about the game, watch the game together, have a few beers, do a match reaction live on stage, and then we all meet each other. That's what it would be. Right. The game itself. Make an AI sound to cover you. Right. What did you think of the game then? I'll be honest. I've really quite enjoyed it. I think it was it better than I expected? Well, I wouldn't say it was like an incredible game, but I would say it was a good game. Sorry, one more question there that someone's asking. Kyle saying, what's stopping you, Sam? Smaller channels are all in the US now following the team. Kyle, if I was there, none of what I do would exist. All the live shows, all the videos, and everything that allows the channel to run wouldn't run if I was in USA. It might be cooler for me. It might be awesome, but then no, you need to be able to sustain both at the same time. If I'm there, someone else has to be doing everything that I'm doing here. So both run. Currently can't do that. That's why I've got no chance of going. But yeah, the game itself. Russell Hussein played well, I thought. It was also West Ham, says Victor. I think that's a fair point. I mean, they were crap. Let's be honest. Kari saying it was a visible improvement. Stephen saying first half was a hell of a lot better. Second half, the quality dropped. Yeah, the quality has dropped. Despite not scoring, I think Højlund looked decent. Man, he was so unlucky at the start. There was another chance he had, which he properly spooned over. But that first one was just good pace, good strength, got in front, put his body there, just came off the post. Did feel sorry for him that. Mainoo and Ugarte cover each other's weaknesses, says Ark. Well, let's speak about some individuals. I think overall, as a team performance in that first, you know, there's something I said in the match reaction. I don't remember in the first preseason game on tour, United ever actually really playing 65 minutes with the same 11. Like, we've always switched at halftime. We've always switched the team. And I think it's a good indication of fitness levels. The fact that these players already in the first game of the preseason tour are able to manage 65 minutes. I think that's what they played. So I'm hoping that then means that by the end of the preseason, we've got 3 games, remember. We've got Bournemouth, Everton, and then Fiorentina back at Old Trafford. I'm hoping that there's going to be a semblance of a starting 11 playing in that game and quite a few of them playing 90 minutes. Make a big difference. But it should do anyway. What do you think about Cunha? Right? Someone needs to calm Diego Leon down. He's going to be excited, man. He's going to be excited for a good while. It'll take him time to settle. He's still in the... It's going to be probably a couple of months of like, oh, I've got to impress. I've got to sort of do everything and be the best at doing it, sort of thing. That's just going to be a standard mindset. And as he settles in and he becomes a bit more comfortable, he probably will just play a bit better. Cunha was class, says Dune. Ark saying Cunha was smooth. I don't particularly think that Cunha has done anything spectacular in these first 2 games, but I also don't think he needs to. I think you saw Cunha winning the ball back on the edge of his own box. You saw Cunha popping up on the edge of the opposition's box. On link-in play, you saw him driving the ball between the lines. He's just a very good footballer. Just playing decent football the whole time. Linking up with the team. Defending where needed. Just being a good player. That's what he looks like to me. Also like the little link-up play with Dorgu on the left-hand side. The overlapping runs. It's something that a lot of you were frustrated at last season. Garnacho and his instinct was whenever he received the ball from Dorgu was to turn away and drive inside. Cunha doesn't do that. I mean, sometimes he does, but he's not a head down player. He's a head up player, and then he'll choose what the best thing to do is. Tony saying is his attitude. I think it's been a solid start from Cunha. And you know how many times I've mentioned it, and I don't know how many times, more times I will, across the whole season, the ball carrying. Just take the ball and run with it for 10 yards. Makes the world of difference, man. Makes the world of difference. Suraj saying United fans need to allow Cunha and Mbeumo to do their thing. I think that's exactly what they do right now. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Do you think we could sell Mount? I think if we wanted to, we wouldn't be able to because of how much we spent on him and because of his fitness issues. I think Mount's going to really struggle for game time this season. I'll be delighted if I'm proven wrong, but I'm not really expecting much from Mount this season. I think those 2 spots, and especially when you see Bruno as well. Like, we're talking about Cunha and we're talking about Mbeumo, right? They're going to be our 2 inside, left attacking midfielder, right attacking midfielder. And then you see Bruno in that game. And you're like, well, how in the world do you get Bruno in the same... Bruno's best position is inside the opposition's half. I know that. You know that. The idea of putting Bruno in that midfield too, it could work if you've got the right partner alongside him. But I think what we saw in that game against West Ham was a really complementary partnership. And it also allowed Bruno to just be Bruno. Bruno without responsibilities in his own half is a seriously more effective player. You know, not everybody can be the perfect all-round midfielder. Bruno's got the energy levels and he won't ever give up on it, but sometimes those energies are sort of misspent in the wrong direction. Captain State Bait, you're saying this season, all I want is for other teams to go, wow, this is a different Man United since last season. I think that will happen. I think they already started there. That was a mad comment up there. Who's that? Someone, Ronald. Amorim is destroying Ahmad. People. Well, think about nonsense before you spread it. I'm totally convinced that right wing back is the best position for Ahmed. I don't think you realise how many times that goal that he scored that was offside was really unlucky. You watch how many times this season he gets himself into a position where he's free in space there because he's playing right wing back. Because it's very bloody difficult to mark a right wing back whilst you're marking all the attackers. There are going to be so many occasions this season where Ahmed is the free man because he's playing in that position. I want to speak about Ugarte and Mainoo. Akash saying, Sam, something nobody noticed enough from that was how sensational Euro was, especially on the ball with regards to his passing from distance. I thought it's going to, well, it already has a little bit, just the difference of having two proper athletes in Aiden Heaven and Lenny Yoro as your two wide centre-backs. It's night and day, really. There was quite a lot of occasions last season. And look, I feel a little bit sorry for him. I think he'll still be a good squad player for United this season. But Mazraoui is now going to effectively be... I know, look, when you think about it, this random little thought of mine there. Mazraoui is the central centre-back. I don't think that's an outrageous shout. Because I'm still concerned and confused about that central centre-back. You know what? He's about dropping into midfield, being comfortable there. But Ugarte, right? First things first, I did not know how good his English was.
He told me, and he always saying about the communication, speak to everyone, try to organize the team, and try to recover the ball as soon as possible. So I think tonight we did, not only me, the team, we play really, really well.
It's exactly my reaction. Fair enough. I think Ugarte got a hell of a lot of stick last season from United fans for doing stuff that he simply wasn't bought to do. That he doesn't really do. It's not really part of his game. He's not going to be... And this is a kind of a flaw in his game style and also in the system that Amorim's building. He's not really going to be the person to receive the balls from his defenders. He's not really going to be the person to play out from the back. He's not really going to be the person to release the pressure. But he's ridiculously good when you're out of possession and you're playing a high aggressive game. And if you play a game like that and you let him play like that, he's going to be a serious asset. That's exactly what happened against West Ham. Aiden, you're saying can we discuss why he gets unwarranted disrespect? United fans are angry with Ugarte for not doing what he can't do. And I think a little bit unreasonably so. Do I think that Ugarte is going to be a staple in our midfield for years to come? No, I don't. Right? And you're talking about him being forced to do it because Bruno kept drifting higher up the pitch. Bruno was playing as one of the two number 10s. So he was tasked with doing that, wasn't he? He kept switching with Cunha. It was a really good partnership between those two. Right? And Kobbie definitely... I think this is worthy of a video this week at some point. Right? On Kobbie. What did you think of the game? Tom, you're saying Ugarte's hate is forced by the media, anything for headlines and clicks? Honestly, I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of United fans that were angry that we spent 50 million on Ugarte when PSG spent the same amount on João Neves and he went on to win the Champions League. That's what United are angry about, right? And if you're saying you meant during the season, I can't understand that from that chat. So if you can, just be a little bit clearer. But Kobbie, I thought Kobbie played really well. And again, might do this in a video later this week, or might wrap it into today's video. Not sure. Howson did a class video from the stadium. He's out there with Rio, and he said he spoke to Ruben Amorim, and he asked him directly about what he wants from his midfielders, and he was speaking about how he wants the number 6. He wants the traditional number 6, number 8 style. Number 6 who's going to be comfortable receiving the ball from his centre-backs. So that's where it doesn't really match up with Ugarte. And he wants a number 8 to be the sort of box-to-box midfielder who goes forward, comes back, and that's kind of where Bruno fits into that, but Kobbie really fits into that. And I thought Kobbie was class. I really do hope that he's the player at the end of the season that we all agree. Surprise is the wrong word. I'm not going to say most improved either, because that indicates crap. The fact that I won that when I was playing football is a real indicator that not the best players get that. But it just strikes me as, I think, what I hope this season is for Kobbie is by the end of it, there's not really a debate on what his position is or where Kobbie fits in at Manchester. It's like, by the end of the season, like, this is Kobbie Mainoo's position and this is his. Because there's absolutely no way that I want to see this bloke go and play for another club and for the next 6, 7, 8 years just grows into potentially being one of the best midfielders in the world. Sod that. And it's not as if I'm saying force him into the team, figure out a way to use him. But no, I think he's just, as Amorim sort of says here, right? I'll read through these quotes, but just to speak this one out. He's a big talent, and you guys know better than me that he is a big talent. That's not actually what I thought it was. But anyway, this is Ruben Amorim speaking about Kobbie before the game, I think this was. Talking about the fact that he can play in both positions. His perfect position, and this is what I always felt, and you always felt, is his perfect position is on the ball. Now, if he was talking about Ugarte, he'd probably say his perfect position is off the ball. Chasing down. Hunting. That's Ugarte's best position, but Kobbie's isn't. He's a creator first. He says down here, he goes, he needs to increase the rhythm, the pace. I'm always on top of that with Kobbie because he's so good sometimes, but he can be better. I have big plans, but like I said, it's one game per week and the competition's going to be huge. Everybody has to be prepared to play one game or play all the games. That's a key point. I thought it was a really good game from Kobbie. Now, let me see what you're saying down here. Needs to upgrade his game. I think for Kobbie, it felt like a lot of it was linked to physicality. Not just like being stronger and being bigger, but the agility, the acceleration, the explosiveness, like changing directions quickly. He can play under pressure. He can have sort of an attacker on his back and he can hold the ball. He can shield the ball. He can find the pass. He can pick a pass. He can score. There's a lot of stuff naturally with the ball which he's gifted at. But it was more the actual all-round robustness, I suppose, is a good word, that he needed to learn. And he's been putting in the yards in the off-season with Euro. And I hope it pays dividends, because I think it was a good performance from him. Mo saying the fact that Bruno has to be accommodated in that team. It's not the fact that Bruno has to be accommodated, but it's like, how do you play your best players in their best positions? Because I think United have done that quite a lot over the years. Like simply not playing the best players in the best positions. You're not going to get the best out of them, are you? Look, random thought here. I think this is worthy of a conversation for a video itself, but I wonder if there's a real possibility of next season we do see Cunha playing centrally far more than we think. Maybe even Mbeumo too, because they can both play it. But getting Mbeumo, Bruno and Cunha as that front three, I don't think it's impossible. Now, when it comes to one weakness that we still saw, I covered this, and I think this definitely deserves to be spoken about. It wasn't a perfect game, but it does need to be in pre-season. I think there was a lot of positives to take from it. This was not one of them. That ball there, is this still on? Yeah. That ball there, straight through. So there's Ugarte, and there's Kobbie, really aggressively pushing high, and all it takes is one ball through the middle there, and Soucek, I think, had a free run for about 30-ish yards before he reached our defenders. Number one, it probably means our defensive line was too deep. Number two, it also means that Ugarte and Mainoo are pushing a little bit too high. The spaces between the lines. We know that's a big old issue. I think that's just a structural thing. I think that's probably Ugarte and Mainoo being a little bit overzealous, a little bit overkeen. And you're talking about Mbeumo and Cunha sharing the number 9 role. I think it's possible. I really do. It's not to say that we won't go out and sign a striker. But the only way that you can get... Right now, our best 3 attackers are Bruno, Cunha, and Mbeumo. And as it stands, to play with a system which only has 2 number 10s and 1 number 9, you can't fit all 3 of them in the best position. So how exactly do you do it? Don't know. Right? Careful with the drawing there. I just accidentally nearly drew a dick. Not being back at school. There was a whiteboard and there was a pen. There's only one thing you're going to do. Right? One last little thing I want to speak about. Dorgu. I said it again in my match reaction. I was like, I don't think Dorgu's done anything really particularly different in these first couple of preseason games. It's just that United fans have got the mental space to be able to speak about the positives of Dorgu's performances. Everybody was so on edge last season that you weren't... The idea that you could try and be positive about a player was like... It was almost like taboo. No one had the space, the mental space to deal with it. I think he looks a little bit better. Yeah, sure, okay. He's looking a little bit improved, but I don't think he's doing anything drastically different to what he was doing last season. He's just doing more of it. The good stuff. I'm enjoying what I'm watching. That left-hand side. That left-hand side. Luke Shaw gets absolutely nowhere near that team. Well, Luke Shaw was never really going to play as a... If Shaw plays any minutes, and I hope he doesn't play many, he plays an alternative to Heaven at left centre-back. But if I'm going to have one of... By the way, I saw this from Laurie Whitwell. I don't know whether this is completely true or not, but if it is, that could be amazing. The suggestion... I don't know. I need to go and listen to the latest Talk of the Devils myself. The suggestion that Martinez might be only missing the first 3 games. Not sure. Where does Delo fit in? John, he fits on the bench. Great professional. Great athlete as well, to be fair. On the bench. He's not starting. And you could probably argue that he might be a better choice as right-sided centre-back instead of right wing-back. But then I'd also say that Mazraoui is best at that. The squad's not perfect yet by any stretch of the imagination. I don't really want to see Shaw play that much this season. I'll be totally honest. I don't think it's me being unfair either. I think Dorgu has did look promising. I think we look promising in that game. Xerxes, I think he's got a small injury. I think that's what Amorim said. It's not anything like major or anything bad, but small. Right? Let's see what you're saying down here. Florian Plettenberg, I'm being told he said something on Sesko. Right? 15 mins. Let's have a little peep. Florian Plettenberg works for Sky Sports Germany, right? I would say the most reliable. Anyway, that's what the news says. Manchester United and Newcastle are currently in talks with Benjamin Sesko's management. Both teams have presented their projects and financial offers. The decision now lies mainly with the player and his camp. Offers are expected to be formally submitted to Leipzig following the verbal agreement. However, Newcastle are pushing a lot. So he's suggesting that United are in talks with Sesko's representatives, telling them how much he's probably going to be earning, stuff like that. If only for the fact that Newcastle would miss out on another target, I would want that to happen because it would just be objectively even more funny. But it very much strikes me that Newcastle are going to get a record. I think Newcastle sell Isaac for 120 million and it'll be a British record. And they'll then spend that money on Sesko. Let's see if this gets backed up by the likes of Laurie Whitwell or David Ornstein, Simon Stone, stuff like that. I don't personally think that we're going to be able to financially offer more than what Newcastle offer. And also, he probably wants Champions League football as well. But yeah, let's move on. What are you saying down here? Newcastle will sign Sesko. Sesko's not joining us, says Ant. I don't believe we're in for Sesko, says Adam. I don't think we're going to be signing him either. I'll move on to speak about signings in a second, more new signings. We'll speak about Cunha, we'll speak about Mbeumo. As it stands, Mbeumo isn't quite fit to play. We're going to be doing, as I said, the latest part of the Inside Amorim's preseason series. We'll take a look at any training videos of Mbeumo, anything that we can speak about there. And also, we did the video that went out on Saturday, which I forgot. Well, I didn't forget about, but I haven't actually spoken to you about. We did this video at the weekend. Released that on Saturday. And it was a video which looked into what Mbeumo and Cunha will bring. And kind of focusing on the numbers. So in terms of the goal creating chances, in terms of the runs with the ball, in terms of how many shots they take, how many runs they make in behind, what exactly style-wise they're going to bring to the team. I hope you enjoyed it. But following on from that, I thought this was a good comment from Ruben Amorim, speaking about the difference in personalities. And they're on like different ends of the spectrum right now. Bryan Mbeumo is somebody who's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more, what's the word? Introvert right now, which may well change to extrovert, which is what Cunha is, a Brazilian walking in. Don't know, probably dancing. Maybe, maybe not. Don't quite know. But just how different the personalities are. Kolo Muani's coming in. Bit random. Don't think he will. Haaland and Sesko, the same level. How many goals scored by each last season? I don't know how many goals Sesko scored last season. But Haaland didn't score many, so let's not speak about that. And yeah, ran through. If you want to, check out what we learned. This is going to be, well, we've been doing these for years anyway. But we're going to be continuing this properly. I'm going to try and get them out every single match day by 12 p.m. the day after. A sort of what we learned watching that game last night. And yeah. Let's move on to speak about, it's 42 minutes in, the last 10 minutes of the show, let's speak about transfers, right? Well, let's speak about sales. I thought, in an ideal world, every single player who Manchester United sign, they want to play for the club. I do think it's quite an essential part this summer. Maybe more than any other summer for Ruben Amorim, but this summer in particular, he needs players with buy-in. And that's actually the first thing I said. So the success of Ruben Amorim at Manchester United will completely rely on the buy-in from the players. If he gets the buy-in from the players, then he's going to have an opportunity. First season, 6 months, it was tough. I think even if the players wanted to buy in, it was very hard to get any sort of momentum going. But something he said, and you may well have missed this, right? Because so much has happened this weekend. I'm going to pull up some quotes from his pre-match press conference where he's speaking about the bomb squad, as they've been named now. And he spoke about what would happen, if you don't sell him. And this is what he said, right? He was asking about whether their value could decrease not being in the team. He goes, it's not. I don't think that's the case because there's different reasons for the players. Some players had to find a new place. Some players have more space in the team. Others, they want a new challenge. We're just allowing these players to have time to think and to decide. If we reach a point where they have to join the team, they will join the team because they are our players. I know for a fact that Omar and Jason and the club have got a number for these players, right? United aren't going to take half-arsed offers for any of these players. They've got numbers. If you don't reach that, they'll be United players. And this is something I really, really enjoyed because this is flipping the leverage, right? I speak about leverage a lot and how important it is for transfers. I understand clubs are maybe waiting for the last minute, but they can have a surprise, and I'm ready because I'm ready to receive these players in the team. They have more competition. If you want to play in the World Cup this year, you need to play. And I think that gives United a little bit of leverage. That gives Ruben Amorim a little bit of leverage. Garnacho, I know you want to play in the World Cup. The only way you do it, lad, is joining another club. Because you're not going to get that here. Well, if you do stay here, the only way you're going to get that here is by putting your head down and grafting. Antony, same with him. By the way, Antony got called up into the squad by Carlo Ancelotti. So he's already in the conversations. But the only way he stays in those conversations is if you get a club, really. Your best opportunity lies away from Manchester United in playing in the World Cup. So if you want to be selfish and think about yourself, which you definitely all do, then it's probably in your best interest to find a new club. But if you don't, well, that exact same reason, the fact that you want to play the World Cup, should mean that you don't just drag your heels like a spoiled brat in training. And I think this annoyed me a bit, right? You know, when people were saying that Amorim was an idiot for sort of telling Garnacho he had no future at the club because it's going to lower his price. And I'll be like, mate, he did that in like a private conversation behind closed doors. Someone leaked that. What in the world has that got to do with Ruben Amorim? Yeah, you had the conversation with him. Was it harsh, giving him basically a shakedown in front of the rest of the squad? Maybe. But it had an impact, though. Do I think that the club is wrong for telling these players that they can't come to training? No. Because it's about the culture. It's about the environment. Does that mean that we're maybe compromising on the value of those players? Probably a little bit, yeah. Do I think that's worth it? Yep. Yes, I do. Someone's saying down there, saying that we're compromising. We are compromising. Rashford was a compromise. Sancho doesn't care, unfortunately. This won't have any impact on Sancho. That lad is going nowhere near the England team anytime soon. He knows it. He's effectively a retired footballer and has been for a while now. Anyway, I just like these comments. Ruben Amorim's not closing the door on any of them coming back into the squad, just in case nothing happens. And the fact that I'm only really... We're 45 minutes into the show. Can I say, please do drop a like on the video. Makes a big difference. And make sure you subscribe if you're new. But it's until now that I've waited to have a conversation about sales, because there's not really much of an update for me to bring you on really anything today, transfers-wise. The majority of the conversation's about the preseason. Sesko, we've already had the conversation about that. But Antony, this is coming from Santiago, who I think writes for Foot Mercato, saying that Al Nassr have sent a bid to United for Antony. Al Nassr, who of course have just about to sign João Felix. Could they come in for Antony? Would be spectacular if they did. Absolutely spectacular. I've seen reports from Brazil suggesting that United want to charge £50 million for Antony, which is very, very wishful thinking. Right? But Antony and Real Betis, I don't know whether this was directly aimed at Real Betis, but if I'm going to choose one club that's really aimed, it feels like it's aimed towards it. I understand clubs are maybe waiting for the last minute. It is exactly what Real Betis are doing. We've got two choices here, lads. We can either submit an offer to United to sign him, which we don't really want to do, or we could just sit there and wait until the last day of the window and then go in with a loan offer so they have to accept. Yeah, let's do that. It's exactly what Real Betis are doing. Screw that. Screw you. You're going to stay at the club. We are not going to let you leave Manchester United on loan, Antony. All right? If you want to play in the World Cup with Brazil next year, which I'm sure you do, I'm telling you, you will not be loaned out. It won't happen. Even if you're still here on deadline day and a loan offer comes in, we will reject it. You will remain a Manchester United player and you'll likely be on the bench next season. And you'll likely miss out on the World Cup in 2026 as a consequence. Do you want that? No? All right. Or maybe you might have to think about going elsewhere then. Saudi. And maybe that's kind of what's happened. United have got to put their foot down. This is about player power as well. It's a good thing, right? It's kind of the point I'm trying to make. This is all part of getting rid of player power. Players feel like they are, and kind of largely they are, but football players nowadays feel like they are in control of transfers. But that shouldn't be the way. That shouldn't be the case. The football club should be in control of the football transfers of said club. Players can, of course, reject moves and say they don't want to move places and they want to move here. You can't force a player to go somewhere they don't want to go. I understand that. Yeah, and I kind of agree on that one. It's not really me sort of being hypercritical of Antony and saying that I think Antony's actually carried himself quite well compared to other players that United are trying to sell. But if Antony thinks that he can sit and wait for Real Betis without actively sort of seeking moves elsewhere, I think that's where United are kind of going to be drawing the line. And that's why I'm excited to see if that Saudi link develops. And if it does, you know where to come. I'll bring that to you. So last minute or two of the show, you know the drill. Please send in any chats you want me to speak about, which I haven't. Yeah. The stuff coming out about Sesko is, I kind of say whiffy. If it's only coming from Florian Plettenberg. Where was it? Oh, bloody hell, click the right one. How did I manage that? Let's see what goes on with Sesko. I don't expect United to go for him. Watkins, I kind of expect United to go for him, but Villa, they've given the hands off. They're going to dig in with the price. I think that we might be, I wouldn't say we're wasting our time on that one, but we might end up wasting some time. What about Shaw's Saudi link? Any truth in that? I haven't seen anything about Luke Shaw and Saudi stuff. Not right now, anyway. Starting lineup for Bournemouth is going to be going out on Wednesday. Let's have a look at content plans for the week. So today, going to be doing, I mean, you might get a double drop today. I've already got a Saint Lamont's full story recorded. Plus, need to do an inside Amorim's preseason, the next part of the series. So those two will be going out. We've also got the Bournemouth 11 lined up. Yeah, it is Thursday morning at 2:30. We're going to have another... Oh, we might have a little cheeky mini doc coming out on Wednesday about certain Wayne Rooney. Just saying. Just saying. Been hearing some chatter about Kone's loan move being cancelled. We've heard that as well. But Kone didn't play in any of the two games. And Collier, I think, was chosen ahead of Kone in terms of the opportunity in midfield. Jack Fletcher played as 1 and 2 number 10s, which is further forward than where Sekou Kone is going to play. So does that mean that Ruben Amorim sees Collier as further ahead? And I think Collier is further ahead than Kone. Right? Cool. I'm going to wrap up for the week. That was a short week. I'm going to wrap up for today. Get on with the lunchtime video. Stop spoiling the surprise drops. And sometimes, especially with the videos that we put so much work and effort into, it's good to have a build up to a video rather than just a surprise drop. But check it out. Between 12 and 1 p.m. today, the next inside preseason video. All right. Is Mbeumo match fit for the next game? We'll cover a little bit on Mbeumo in that video. Take it easy.